I'm working late tonight. I'm working on some orders, and I had a couple of questions come up this week about our mask attachment video that we posted on YouTube. So I wanted to just do a little refresher that is not demonstrated on the kids version. This is the adult version. Well, of course, I guess it could be either, but our kids version has a lot larger beads in it. They're about this size, and so I just made up this one for our custom order, and I wanted to show a demonstration on how to attach. Okay, so just a little background. This is strung on medium or 0.018 Softflex. It's a professional quality beading wire that we highly recommend and we sell. I really prefer to work with it anytime that I can. The kids' kits included something called Aculon or Tiger Tail. It's a little bit easier for them to bead onto. The end of Aculon acts like a needle. It's a little more stiff, so we included that for the kids' kits. The same attachment that I'm about to do works on either wire, so it doesn't matter what you have. But it does only work on beading wire, I have to say. You don't want to do this with cord or string or anything like that. Okay, so I've strung up the mask chain, and I've left a little bit of space on either end. You'll see that I clamped off here and left myself at least 3 inches, which is what you want to do for sure. If you don't have one of these nifty clamps, this is called a bead stopper, and we do sell these as well. But if you don't have one of these, you can use a piece of tape right here. But you definitely want to go ahead and clamp that off. And then you work with your open end, which is here. Take your crimp tube, slide it on. Take your clasp, slide it on. Take your wire and go back through a few beads. Now, if for some reason your bead did not fit the wire twice, you would want to stop, take this off, and put a bead on that had a large enough hole. I pre-tested it before this video and before getting started, but if you didn't, it's no big deal, but go ahead and take that bead off and replace it with another, or just add another bead that the wire can go back through twice. You always want to be able to go through at least one bead, but I really prefer to do a few like this. So it goes back through, and you slide it up. And then I want you to start getting rid of all that slack up here in this loop. And I'm just doing that by pushing. And I want to make sure that I leave this loop with enough space that this clasp can fully move around. That's very important, especially for the mask ones. You want to be able to have a full rotation here. So you'll notice I'm not making this super tight. Let me try to get a close-up of that. I know y'all are forgiving my very amateur recording skills, aren't you? Much appreciated. All right, before I get any further, I want to show you the 2 tools I'm using. This is a nice flush cutter and a needle nose plier. I'd like you to try to use the jeweler's kind that don't have the teeth in here, but if that's all you have and you're at home and you need to do your project, then you can get away with it, but it will mar this a little bit. So if you think you're having fun with this kind of hobby or crafting, go ahead and treat yourself to one of our nice jeweler's pliers. They're under 10 bucks. All right, I've got this positioned, and I'm going to come in with my flat nose and smash it down. I'm really putting a good bit of pressure here. And now it is flat. And this is allowed to move around freely. And I'm going to pull up this extra bead here and bury that last little bit of wire, okay? Then I start pulling my beads and get them all the way nice and tight here. So you see there's no slack. And now we're going to do the other end. Notice that I'm having this lay flat on my board. That's because if you would try to attach this with this hanging, it would be too tight and stiff. So we always want to attach things laying flat in the shape that they're going to be in. So for instance, I don't want this to be laying flat in this shape. I want it to be laying flat in this shape. And that's because all these little beads take up room when they're in this nice curve. And we want that to be mimicked when we're doing the clasp so that when you're wearing it in this shape, it doesn't have any extra slack. So I laid it flat and I kind of just pushed a little bit here and pulled my cord here so that I could get all the slack out of the piece. Then your crimp bead goes on. Now, really quickly, if you were not making a mask chain and you just wanted to make a necklace, it would be the exact same attachment, but right here you would put a ring instead of another clasp. We're doing 2 clasps because this will be used as a mask chain. And one day when we don't have to wear masks all the time, she can wear it as a nice necklace. But for now, wearing masks. Pulling this tail here and holding this clasp. And that resistance allows me to maintain a nice shape here and get all of my slack out. So I'm going to mimic that side. See how I've got this nice loop here. The clasp can move around. Come on in with my flat nose and smash it. I'm very careful to not have my clasp in my plier. You wouldn't want to do that. And there it is, nice and tight. You want to make sure you really clamp down on that. You can't hurt this wire. This is 49 strands of stainless steel encased in nylon. You can't cut it with your strength while crimping it. The only thing that will cut it is your cutter. All right, next step is I like to pull this a little bit and get right in next to that bead and snip. That should reduce any inclination for this wire to pop out. Nice and safe and secure. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.